They have no fear. They'll take on anyone into a brick wall of French defence. Francis Johnston, clever ball from the top forward, nearly came off too, and it has done. It stayed in play, and it's a first try for Samoa. Big chance down, and it's going to be a surely just control it, and it's an easy run in for Frederic Michalak. Because that was really a given away try, but that is the final whistle. Well, what do you say? Not a great spectacle, but France got what they wanted in the end, which was the win, but Samoa didn't. But how nearly they came. France, well...
Talofa, what's up, guys? Last night was the game between France and Samoa. Most of you probably know that we came up short. We end up losing the game by 22 to 14. You know, it was a great team effort. You know, one that we could be proud of again. Before I get into the game, I just want to give a quick shout out to one of my followers on Twitter, at Tupusadivi, Malos, what's up? And just want to acknowledge the Tongan rugby team, the Kalitahi. They beat the Scots last night, 21 to 15. That was a good result for them. So big ups to the fellow brothers from the Pacific. But yeah, on to the Samoa versus, the Manu Samoa versus France. When the game started, you could see when we were playing that we came out with a lot of confidence that came from our victory against Wales and the emphatic win against Canada. The guys were riding high. You could tell by how eager and how well they were running the ball, when they were spreading it out to the backs, and the forwards as well. You know, and the power runners. You know, everything was looking slick. Just a few handling errors that might have cost us a little bit in the first few phases of the game. I think mostly due to Tusi Pisi. He tried, I think he threw 2 interception balls and a kick that got charged down in the first half that actually was picked up, and a try was scored by the first 5 for France, Frederic Michalak. But we were the ones who opened the scoring first. It was we were pressing forward, and Francis Johnston, our prop, he had the ball and he chip kicked it, and it was a grubber kick and it was going towards the touchline, but Robert Lila Mayava, he was able to pick it up and keep the ball in play and drop back in for I think it was Dave Lemmy. Was able to go under the post and open the scoring for us. That was a great start for us. That again reminded me of how we started hot out of the gates against Wales, and we had the momentum early on. But like I mentioned, with the charge down kick that Michalak scored the try from, that happened a little bit shortly after we scored. So you know, the balance of the game was still, you know, it could have gone either way early on. But we were starting to press forward a lot. We were getting some penetration through the backs, and you know, especially with our loose forwards when they're running up with the ball. Well, like I said, you know, a handling error or two by PC, you know, kind of cost us a little bit in the first half. But think we went into the second half losing 10-7. I think we had a chance to score a penalty at the end of the first half, but I think it was missed by Tusi Pisi. The referee, that's another thing. I mean, I'm not one to cry about the referees, but again, I think the referee had a hand in one or two phantom calls against the Manu Samoa. One in particular that got me pretty, when I was watching, I was just like, what the hell was that? We were able to win a counter ruck through Census Johnston, but the referee ruled that I think it was Mori Savalu was on the floor and he played the ball, but he didn't. I looked at the replay like 2-3 times and there was nothing there, but the referee ruled a penalty against us, and I'm not sure if that's the penalty that the French scored the 3 and were able to hit the front before the half, but bad call. But anyway, we went into the second half down 10-7, but once again we started the second half hot out of the gates. We were pressing forward in attack again. We started using the pick and go, and when we were inside the 22, and then we started trying to spread it out wide again, and then I think Takori was the one who scooped it up and was able to score the try, which was reviewed by the TMO because the ref wasn't sure if we'd crossed over, but you could see on the replay that Takori did manage to score the try, and that put us in front. And from that point till about the 60-minute point of the second half, we had all the momentum, we were making all the breaks, we were running the ball well. Our set piece started shaking in the first half, but we were starting to get it together in the second half and at the end of the first half. And then there was a 50-50 call that went against us. We were hot in attack inside the 22, and we spread the ball out wide, and George Pesey, he made a half break, but he got tackled by the legs and he went down, and then he got back up and started running again, and the ref ruled that was double movement and that the player was held, and that I feel cost us some points because we were really pressing forward and had all the momentum at that point. It wasn't until after the second in the second half, after the 60-minute mark, I think we started making some silly mental errors that really cost us. There's 3 that come to mind, and that's how France were able to creep their way back in the game and eventually retake the lead and hold on to the lead for the rest of the game through the boot of Michalak. Scored he scored how many penalties? 4 more penalties that put them in front, and eventually the final score was 22-14. We had one more shot at a penalty goal, but PC, whose boot kind of let us down a little bit because he missed the 2 penalties and he had the charge down, and he threw 2 interceptions, which I think he had a little bit of an off day, but it is what it is. I mean, PC's been far and away the best first 5 we've had in years in previous encounters for us. So one bad game doesn't really change that. He's still number 1 for me at the position for us. Definitely gives our backline more potency than any other first 5 that we've got. And he's a playmaker and a game breaker as well. But yeah, he had an off day. But the penalties in the last 15-20 minutes, there was 3 of them that were, they're just dumb play, and I feel like that's what cost us the game. I don't get me wrong, I'm proud of the effort. I'm proud of the team, to take France, who have been white hot in as of late. They made the final at last year's World Cup, only losing by 1 point, and then this in the November test they beat Australia and Argentina pretty emphatically, and for us to be able to push them to the limit further than any other country that's played them so far, I'm very proud of. But in a sense, I feel like we could have and we should have won that game if not for those mental errors, making the silly penalties. The two that come to mind. One was Yosefa Tikori. He committed 2 penalties that resulted in 6 points. I can't remember what one of them was for. I think it was for joining the side of the ruck. But there was one where he was. There was a maul. The French were mauling from the line out, and he was coming from the side and trying to get to the play at the back, and the referee was looking at him and telling him to get back, but he kept on pressing forward trying to get to the ball carrier, and that's when the referee eventually blew the whistle, and there was 3 points gifted to the French. And another one was there was a scrum on inside the 10, I think, between the 10 meter and the 22 inside our territory, and we were pushing. We actually started to shunt their scrum back. It was on their feed, and then Formai, who's the blindside flanker, he was right in front of the touch ref and right in front of the referee, and we were 2 meters away from the touchline, and he decided to put his hands, in the scrum and start wheeling the ball back for us, which was just. I looked at it, I was like, well, what were you thinking? Like, the referees are right there. It's not like you're going to get away with it, and it's not, like, it was unnecessary. I thought we had their scrum on the back foot for that particular one, and yeah, it was just, I don't know, I thought it was dumb play, just another mental error. But it was, we lost, but as I was saying, France is a quality team, and to take them to the limit like we did, even though the result didn't go our way, and like I said, in a sense, I feel like we could have and should have won that game. But nevertheless, like, what an effort, what a game. The Manu Samoa have proven once again, like, the proud rugby nation that we are, and that we are a force to be reckoned with. No one should ever take us lightly, and I'm sure they don't. But when we're riding high on confidence, when we have the depth that we've got at the moment, and we have the time to be able to spend to get the team together and be able to spend before they start playing their games, and be able to work with their coaching staff. And that's another thing, the coaching staff has done a great job with the Manu Samoa. But to be able, because in past years, that's what has killed the team when coming together for these tours, is they get together like a week or two before they play, and they just, or even a few days before, gathering players from all over the world, and they just. What can you do in a few days or a week? You can't build cohesion. You can't. It just. Yeah, I feel like that was what would undermine us a lot. Getting our players and our team together, and you saw what happened before the World Cup, having it, being in camp for 60 days before the World Cup, and we beat Australia, and then we beat Fiji and Namibia. And we may have lost to Wales and South Africa, but we made great accounts for ourselves.